Blog Talk Radio, the world's largest online radio network.
Well, hello there, America. It is that time again. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I am, of course, your friendly neighborhood hatchet man, Brother Craig, and we have another fantastic edition of The Really Real Deal. I'm telling you, folks, I have the most wonderful producer in all of radio. She's gotten secure for us today, none other than Grammy-winning gospel legend, country music legend, the Oak Ridge Boys. And we're going to have one of the 30-year members of the Oak Ridge Boys is going to be joining us today, Joseph Bonsall, and he's about 8 minutes away from calling in. So for those of you who are tuning in who are big fans of the Oak Ridge Boys, you hold on for about 8 more minutes, and the big guy himself will be joining your friendly neighborhood hatchet man. And if you're a first-time listener, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming and sharing a little bit of your time with us. A little bit about the Oak Ridge Boys. For those of you who are my regular listeners and may be unfamiliar with the Oak Ridge Boys, these boys been around quite a while, man. They started out as a gospel group way back probably when none of the current members were even born, back in 1947. And Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the home of the atom bomb, they had to sneak entertainment in because no one could leave the facility. So, and these guys went there so often that after a while, they renamed the group the Oak Ridge Quartet, and then later on the Oak Ridge Boys. And so just a little bit about that, and it's been, wow, over the years, I think I counted pretty close to 50 different members, including the singers and band members. They've always been, the singing group portion has always been a quartet. And the gentleman that's joining us today, over 30 years, has been a member of the band. And as in their current incarnation, they've been going strong for 40 years, folks. And so they're going to be celebrating with a 40th anniversary tour kicking off this year. But right now, being the America-loving patriots that they are, these guys, hey, they're taking time out from their music tour to help promote the Romney-Ryan ticket. And so they are currently doing a radio tour, and so they're on radio stations all across the nation today. And we're just privileged, and I really feel humbled and honored that not only the Oak Ridge Boys, but the Romney-Ryan team would feel like coming and gracing our humble little show here, The Really Real Deal. And that's what we try to bring you, folks. You know what I say, the truth is my hatchet. I bring it and I sling it. And I'm sure when we get Joe Bonsall on, he's going to sling his hatchet of truth. And certainly, folks, certainly, we have to give Mitt Romney his props. Brother Mitt has been slinging his hatchet of truth, okay? Can we all say 2-0 in the debates, okay? So, and I know there's some in the media, folks, that wants to pretend that it's 1-1, that, Romney won the first debate, and according to them, by default, because the great, brilliant Obama just didn't show up, had a bad night. Oh, no, he showed up all right, and he showed up again this past Wednesday, but only thing different was that he wasn't sleepwalking, but the facts are just not on his side, and the facts are all on the side of Governor Romney. And so we're just looking very much forward to sort of a restoration, if you will. This is a nation that is in trouble, a nation that's hurting, a nation in need of restoration, a nation in need of a return to God-centered principles. And I'm under no illusion, folk, that it's going to happen overnight. But I'll tell you this, to change presidents from a president who has been marinated all his young life to prepare him for what he would do as an adult, He was marinated in anti-Americanism. He was marinated in atheism. He was marinated in communism with a literal father figure who was a literal card-carrying member of the Communist Party. You know, people throw that phrase around kind of as a joke, you know, card-carrying member. This guy, I've actually seen pictures of his actual card with his name on it and his communist number on it, okay? An actual literal card-carrying member of the Communist Party mentored our current president for 10 years of his early life, from about age 8 to about 18. And to switch now to a Mitt Romney who in his early life, preparing him for adulthood, was marinated in Americana, was marinated in the idea of service, was marinated in love of God, love of community. And everything the man has touched has turned into success, just a total successful life. And it's like the difference between night and day. And I'm telling you, folks, the nation is excited. Things are trending now that people are starting to get a real taste of who Governor Mitt Romney is, and seeing for themselves in these debates, as opposed to half the nation only seeing the caricature of Mitt Romney that the Obama campaign portrays. It's trending all over the nation, and I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if the election is not close. Now, I'm not predicting a landslide, but I would not be surprised at all to have an outcome that's somewhere between a close election and a landslide by, I think, a larger margin than when the nation was tricked into going with Obama 4 years ago. So I'm biting at the bit to ask Joe what his personal impressions are of the Romneys, and we're about 2 minutes away from Joseph Bonsall joining us. A little bit about the going back to the Oak Ridge Boys. These are guys that I'm gonna tell you, I was so impressed. I saw them at the convention, the Republican convention, and the way they sang "Amazing Grace" and Joe's comments about this nation, and what I took to be very sincere, heartfelt words about his feeling of God being chased out of this nation. You just can get a measure of the man in the sincerity with which he stated that, and the way they sang that song, "Amazing Grace," and contrast that, what happened at the Republican convention, with what we all saw to our horror and consternation at the Democrat convention, where God got voted off the island. Okay? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. I mean, you just can't make it up. They tried to save face, the Democratic, and that's my, and I hope this term just takes off. That's my new term for the Democratic leadership. You know, I want to say democratic, but we call them the Democratic, and the leadership of the Democrat Party. They attempted to trick the people into thinking that, okay, we made a mistake when we wrote God out of our platform, so we're going to have a vote here, and we're going to reinsert God in the official Democrat Party platform for 2012. And so to change the platform now requires a two-thirds voice vote, a two-thirds vote now. It clearly was not even 50-50. It was clear. They did it 3 times, okay, 3 times. And each of the 3 times, God was voted off the island, okay? And you like I said, folks, you just cannot make this stuff up. And so big contrast to the reverence for God. Not that Republicans are perfect or everyone is righteous. That we all adults here, and so no need to even go there. But just very, very clear that there's a whole lot more reverence for God on the Republican side than there is on the Democrat side, and so that really, really did impress me as I saw these four fine gentlemen doing their bit to help save this great and beautiful republic, and they're out here on a tour trying to help the Romney-Ryan ticket all that they can. And Joe has even written quite a few books, and G.I. Joe and Lily is one of his books. And From My Perspective is another one of his books. And so when we get him on here, we'll get into a little bit about maybe those two books, as well as what their impressions are of where we are as a nation and where they see the Romney family and the Ryan family, the type of leadership, and not just governmental leadership, but spiritual leadership. This is a nation that is really in need of a president who can be father of the nation in a spiritual sense, not father like a big bully. The way we've heard for the last 4 years with Obama talking about whose foot he's going to put on, whose throat he's going to put his foot on, and how people need to go punch their opponents in the stomach, and they need to don't bring a knife to a gunfight. I mean, it's just, it's horrible. And the man says these things over and over and over again, and in the media, they never report on it. They cover up and hide. You only hear about it for a hot minute, maybe on talk radio. You hear about it for a hot minute, maybe on Fox News, and then they go on to something else. But this is a pattern with our current president, and I don't even call him leader of the free world. That's a title I take to myself. I'm self-appointed leader of the free world until further notice. I've been saying that for quite some time, and I'm telling you, folks, it's such a burden to carry that around, leader of the free world. I'm just praying for a Romney victory so I can hand the title off to the person that really should be leader of the free world, and that actually is President of the United States of America. And of course, we have a lot of work to do in this nation in restoring this nation to freedom. We're no longer in the top tier of free nations on the Heritage Foundation Freedom Index. I think we're down to something like number 13 or 14 in the Freedom Index. Okay, so Mitt Romney is going to have his work cut out for him to beat back some of these anti-freedom things that the Obama team has implemented, and he's going to have to assemble a team of people where they're going to have to root out a whole lot of mess in Washington and put some people in there that love freedom, love the Constitution, love the Lord, and love their fellow human beings, and don't view them the way the Democratic views them as pawns on the chessboard. And that's what it all boils down to. Are you a leader because you love your fellow man, or are you a ruler because you despise your fellow man and you just want to use your fellow human beings to your own ends? And like I said earlier, it's like the difference between night and day. And so this is just something that's been playing out, and it's just going to be interesting to see if the nation has awakened sufficiently to do the right thing. And I think if this nation is awake, the right thing will be done. I think in the long run, good does triumph over evil, although we have to acknowledge history, and there are instances where evil triumphs for a time. And we're just praying fervently that this is not such a time where evil will have another day to tarry. So with that, we just going to look forward, and we have we have a few minutes left to wait for our guests to call in, and we will have them, and they'll share also not only what they're doing with Romney-Ryan Tour, but after the election, they have a 40th anniversary tour and coming up a Christmas tour as well. And so we're just looking forward to getting all of that and to share with you what we have upcoming. I understand that Lee Greenwood is also a part of the Romney-Ryan Freedom Bus Tour and the Romney-Ryan Radio Tour. And we are proud to announce that coming up this Tuesday, 9 a.m., Mr. Lee Greenwood will be joining us. And, we play his most famous song as our outroll every week. We do it here on our Blog Talk Radio Network show, as well as on our local Richmond, Virginia AM show on WLEE. And you can get that at WLEE990.am. We just love Lee Greenwood, so we're looking very much forward to that. That's 9 a.m. Tuesday. And then Tuesday night, we are going to have actor Corbin Burnson, and you remember him, folks, from L.A. Law. And what Corbin has been doing lately, we've been having quite a few very, very fine actors and filmmakers, directors, even had the head of Echo Light Studio, and these are people who put out very, very fine, family-oriented, Christian-themed films. And, several of them have been made by a church group out of Albany, Georgia, and which was, Courageous and Fireproof, among others. And we just very, very pleased to be bringing you Corbin Burnson, who's going to be talking about 25 Hill, and which is out on DVD now, and 3-Day Test, which is coming out soon. And so we're looking forward to that. And Wednesday, what we're going to have, I think what we're planning to do is have actually 2 shows Wednesday because there's quite a few women that have worked for Mitt Romney, and they're going to be joining us here on Blog Talk as well as on our local AM station, WLEE. Women who have worked for Romney. I've seen some of these women being interviewed on television. I've seen the commercial that the Romney team has put together, all because in the debate, I thought Mitt Romney gave an excellent defense to what was obviously a set-up question for Obama with this phony notion of women making 78 cents on a dollar for what men make. And Mitt really, I thought he knocked it out of the park, okay? Because, Obama got up there and he talked theory, and he talked divide and conquer, which is what the demon cats do. That's what the Democracy does. And Romney talked about his history, what he actually has done, what is provable, what is quantifiable. These women, they actually exist. You can go out, find them, interview them. You can Google them. You can look at, what their background is. And, this is a man who does not talk the talk. This is a man who walks the walk. As a matter of fact, you have a hard time getting him to talk the talk quite often. The man is so humble, you have a hard time getting him to say some of the wonderful things he's done, and so others have to go out quite often and say these things for him. So these women are coming forward, and we just feel really, really honored that, again, to have these wonderful people gracing our humble show here, and they're going to give you, as always, the really real deal. And so just looking very much forward to all of these things. And we want to share as well that we had a wonderful interview on. We have a recording. Maybe we'll post these interviews on our Blog Talk radio show here. But on WLEE last week, I'm telling you folks, we had Bishop E.W. Jackson on. You guys have to check out his Exodus Ministries video on YouTube. This is a dynamic speaker, and he's a leader of a group of black ministers who are going around telling black congregations all across the nation. And this video, by the way, has reached 1 million hits so far. So it's starting to have an impact. And he's just telling these people that you cannot call yourself a Christian congregation and still support Democrats, and particularly this president. You just cannot do it. And, with his support of infanticide, his support of breaking not just thou shalt not murder, but certainly thou shalt not steal, and certainly thou shalt not covet that which is thy brother's, because that's all that the Democratic pushes these days. They can't talk about anything positive in a sense of that they love America, because their desire is to have a remake of the Soviet Union or China, or, people in the media say that Obama wants to remake Western Europe. I don't think so. I think it's way worse than that would be bad enough in and of itself if he wanted a remake of Western Europe. I say he wants a remake of the Soviet Union, of Mao's China. I mean, these are people that have Christmas ornaments of Mao hanging from the White House Christmas tree. Had a former communications director, Anita Dunn, who stated that Mao Zedong was one of her favorite historical figures. Okay? So these are fellow travelers here. Ezekiel Emanuel believes totally in infanticide and literally the death panels that Sarah Palin warned about. I mean, this administration is loaded from top to bottom. Chu, the energy secretary, wants $8 a gallon gasoline. I mean, they want total control. Now they're talking about wanting to put a 50-cent per bullet tax on your ammunition and a $25 tax per gun. I think that's in Chicago, that particular initiative. And of course, you know how they run trial balloons. They always will run an idea out and say it's going to be done locally, or have some local person test the idea out and see what type of public pushback they get. Who could ever forget when the governor of, I think former governor actually, of North Carolina said that we may not even have an election this go round, that maybe Obama would just cancel the election. She later on said she was joking. Governors don't joke about things like that, folks. But you would. It's amazing that this election is even close. It is absolutely amazing, and what it does show, because I do believe it's true, folks, and you know it's true, that in the long run, in a democracy or a democratic republic like we have, people do get the government that they deserve. And so there's a great deal of educating. There's a great deal of educating that needs to go on, and in order to inform the public and to let the public know that these Democrats are purchasing your freedom with 13 pieces of silver or a bowl of beans, that, take your pick. But they are attempting to purchase your freedom, and they do not believe in freedom, and that's why in my book, President Obama is not the leader of the free world. Your friendly neighborhood hatchet man, Brother Craig, is the leader of the free world until further notice, because he does not believe in freedom. His party heads do not believe in freedom. Now, I know for those of you who might be Ma and Pa Democrat out there, this might sound fantastic. Okay, this might, you might be about to blow a gasket. And the way I've been about to blow a gasket many times over these last 4 years, and this is why I always attempt to differentiate between the leaders of the Democrat Party and the followers in the Democrat Party. And now, not that I'm saying all of the Democrats are innocent now. I don't believe that. I think some are just innocent, hardworking people that have kind of been tricked. The Democrat Party is no longer the party that it was when their grandparents were around. But the leadership of the Democrat Party, they're 100% to blame. And I would guess a good portion of the membership of the Democrat Party, not all, but a good portion, because a lot of these people, and so let's just talk about one of their favorite words. They love you throw this word greed around. And so now you tell me, folks, is it greedy when you have two businesses right across the street from one another? One business sells a particular item for $50. The other business sells the item for $45. And you run to the $45 store and you purchase the exact same item. And so now you have the item and you have an extra $5 in your pocket. Is that greedy? I think that's common sense. Okay? Is it greedy when a bunch of people go on strike and they say, well, there's 1,000 of us that work at this factory and we're only making $20 an hour. We'd like to make $25 an hour. Is it greedy now? They could go to the ownership and say, well, hey, we have some ideas to improve productivity, and if productivity goes up, can we get a little piece of the increase? I think that would be fantastic, okay? That would be not only fantastic, that would be highly honorable, okay? And of course, people who are in sales and on commission, they can do that anytime. Just make more sales, you make more money, all right? But or if you're on piecework, work faster, you make more money. But, a lot of people are not on commission. A lot of people are not on piecework. And so is it greedy if you say, well, we're going to all band together and we're going to go on strike and we're going to extort out of you an extra $5 an hour? Is that greedy? Now, I say it's unconstitutional because, and I say this as president of the First Amendment, Inc., that you look at those 6 clauses in the First Amendment, one of them gives you the right of free association. It says you have the right to peaceably assemble, and that includes assemble anywhere for peaceful purposes, including a business. 1,000 people in a factory, I don't care if one man owns it or if a bunch of stockholders own it. I don't care who owns it. But it's your personal property, and if you enter into a contract with people who are providing labor in exchange for money, and if they want to stop work, that's their business. But that owner should have the right to replace them. And then once you take that right away because you sold your vote to a particular party, that, in my book, that's greedy, that's illegal, that's unconstitutional. And so, but they love to throw the word greed around, and there's lots of greed, and I say there's nothing wrong with it. If you can get more money, if you're making X number of dollars an hour and you want to raise, and if you want to negotiate, fine. But it needs to be done in a legal way, in a constitutional way. It'd be nice if it were done in an honorable way, but the Constitution is there to make sure that the rules are equal for everyone. And, as far as being honorable, now that's your parents' job and your preacher's job and your teacher's job to teach that to you, and it's your job to learn it. The Constitution is there to make sure that there's a thing called rule of law, which is absolutely fundamental and necessary if you're going to have a free capitalistic economy, which is the best known way to provide a broad prosperity for a society. And this nation has over 200 years history behind it to prove that fact. And, in a very short period of time, the Western world has just gone leaps Skousen called it the 5,000-year leap. Okay, just head and shoulders above the rest of the whole entire world. And you would think people would get it by now, and they will say, hey, this stuff really works. But no, instead, they try to destroy capitalism and kill the goose that lays the golden egg. And so now what's happening here now, folks, is that my producer has just passed me a note that we have had a time zone conflict. And rather than being 4:45 for our guest to call in, he's going to be on at 5:45. And so we're just going to have to sign off for now, and we're going to be back on at 5:45 with our guest. And so we thank you, and we apologize for the interruption, and we're looking very much forward, and these things happen. These guys are all over the nation doing radio shows today. So my apologies to you, and we will see you guys in a little less than an hour from now. So in the meantime, thanks for joining us. Hey, click back on in about 45 minutes. God bless you, America.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.